Welcome back to the Crypto's Key Conversations. Throughout this video, we're going to be taking a look at Digital Perspectives tweet here, where we put up this video where Johnny Deaton's having a meeting with Senator Warren Davidson, some League 2 representatives, talking about this William Hinman slash, hashtag ETHgate or Ethereum Free Pass stuff. We're going to be taking a look at Preston's tweet thread here in regards of this whole Ethereum ICO, which is quite intriguing. And then we're going to be looking through some more updates on kind of what's going on with Bitcoin and the crypto market. Lynn Alden put up a great tweet thread here where she's talking about journalists and they're not being able to own Bitcoin and crypto. We're going to be taking a look at, Board at Yacht Club's, Ape token and what's happening with that. Some Ripple updates and their grants. New Hampshire approval on crypto-friendly laws and some more positives within the space. So coming over here to CoinGecko, we're currently sitting at a $1.9 trillion market cap, currently up 1.8% for the day. Looking at the top 10, Bitcoin sitting at 40,794, Ethereum 2,795, Tether, Binance Coin sitting at 388, XRP 79 cents, Terra $87, Solana $89, Cardano 84 cents, Avalanche $80. So if we look at the top gainers within a 24-hour period, we have XDO Finance 33%, Celo 21.7, PancakeSwap 19.4. You have Thorchain 16, Avalanche 13%, Aave 13%. So there's some good gainers. If we come over here to the Bitcoin Fear and Greed Index, obviously we had some stuff coming out from the Jerome Powell and the Fed yesterday when they raised the interest rates to 25 basis points, which the market kind of anticipated that. So it was a positive sign with that because it's already been, calculated within the markets. And then it was kind of like a less hawkish, like not as extreme hawkish approach that the Fed took. So that was a little positivity. So we went from being in the extreme fear range at 24 to being in the fear range of 27. So we're up 3 points from yesterday, which is positive. But as you can see, we're still in this fear range. So there's still some, market fear and uncertainties. So let's kind of jump into the content now. I wanted to put up this video from Digital Perspectives. Like I said, this is Johnny Deaton meeting with Senator advisors and Warren Davidson to investigate William Hinman and ETHgate. This can be one of the biggest financial cases in history. So let's take a listen into this.
Oh, what I'm saying is there an email that says, okay, if I give Ether a free pass, you'll hire me at the fund? No. But imagine this. In the Empower documents, the emails, there's that email where the ethics office advised Bill Hinman that he shouldn't have go to an ad hoc meeting, a dinner where Simpson Thacher lawyers would be. They said, that's not a good idea. Don't do it. So do you think they were aware that he was collecting 15 million? Well, they were aware he's getting retirement. Were they aware that he was going to give that free pass speech while Simpson Thacher's an Enterprise Ethereum Alliance member? I doubt it. And so what we're doing is trying to get the banking committee members. I actually had a conference call today with the policy advisor of Senator Jack Reed, and we've been having these meetings to get them to ask for those inquiries, to ask for an investigation. Was the ethics office consulted in this decision? Because remember, the SEC says that the speech was his personal opinion. Then why did he give it? And if there's no other explanation other than $15 million, and then he goes and works for the same people that helped write the speech, there could be some real juicy things in there. What I mean by that is imagine emails, text messages, bank records, digital wallet addresses. And if we can acquire some of that from an investigation, then we could possibly have one of the biggest financial cases in history.
So, quite honestly, we talked a lot about William Hinman and Ethereum Free Pass, so I'm not even going to touch on it, but I thought that was a great little interview that they had there. So I wanted to cover this tweet thread by Preston because I thought it was super, super informative, and it kind of just gave a different viewpoint from somebody that kind of wasn't involved or so-called, as he says, a part of this list that he's talking about. So he says, my view for years has been that Ethereum pre-sale was mostly bought up by a handful of people working in concert. There we go. Concert. It was all a plan. It was cohorted together. Cohesion. Here, Joe Lubin discusses disguising mega whale purchases to make them look like a legit crowdfunding. So he has these this image or these images up here, so you can kind of come here and kind of take a look at it. So then he comes down here, and we've listened to this, but coming down here, this is where Joe Lubin's kind of saying, if you're going to spend millions of dollars within, purchasing, Ethereum or ETH in this ICO or this pre-sale, we can do it to where you do it in batches, and we can disguise, your name or you purchasing it, so it's not going to be a problem. So they were trying to find every way around the laws and trying to make it to where it wouldn't be picked up or detected. So right here he goes, I mean, it should have been effing obvious that to anyone who looks at the CrowdSell wallet, but I guess people prefer to ignore that and swallow the Web3 propaganda whole. Web3 will come, but a Web3 worth the name will mostly be mined rather than issued. He says donations from ETH heads around the world not only flowed into the Ethereum project's wallet in great quantities, but they flowed in with the mathematical precision of a power function, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, for 2 weeks straight. So you can come here and kind of click on this link and kind of see what he's talking about. It says, if true, this means that much of Ethereum's promise to decentralized web is in fact a lie. It may instead be controlled by a group of elites whose existence have been purposefully concealed. This also means that if ETH switches to proof of stake, the larger holders will have the power to determine consensus. This is also true considering the only way you can run a full node is on Infura. So then he has some other people kind of saying the similar things in here. They're kind of liking what's going on here. And then he goes, this is hit right here. It says, I'll add that a spreadsheet exists with the names of everyone in crypto who was offered free pre-sale ETH. I should know. My name is on it. I turned the allocation down because my instincts told me sketchy stuff was going on and wanted to be a mile away from it when it blew up. So Johnny Deaton had kind of looked into this, and he kind of threw his 2 cents on it and showed a tweet thread where he was kind of trying to unravel kind of all the shadiness and the scandal that's been going on. But like, this is huge. This is a huge bombshell right here. So more stuff is just continuing to pop up, and I want to thank Preston for kind of putting up this tweet thread. Continuing on here, this is what Johnny Deaton says. He goes, where can one find a copy of this spreadsheet? Who accepted? I admit it's a good way to help push a narrative. So coming down here, he also says, this is from Matthew Westcott. He says, John, surely if the XRP army could source this for you, it would be massive for the case and further discredit the SEC. Johnny D says, it could shed considerable light on some things. For example, did anyone in media accept it? That would be huge if we found out that someone in media did. If so, did they promote ETH without disclosing their financial interest? Any people who are close to the regulators on this list and accepted. So if the XRP army is going to go out there, they're going to continue to hunt and trying to find this information. This information comes out, and we do have a list of these names and see that these people are involved in media and the government and yada yada yada. All it does is strengthen the timeline that we've all been talking about. This is crazy. I wanted to touch on this. Is from Watcher Guru. It says, just in 1.2 billion worth of Bitcoin has left Coinbase in the past week. So we talk a lot about, the illiquid supply, or the supply of Bitcoin on exchanges being depleted because, the whales and everyone keeps, buying it up and pulling it off the exchange and storing it into cold storage. So it says illiquid supply shock ratio going essentially vertical. Supply continues to get absorbed by entities with a low statistical history of spending their Bitcoin. So these whales that continue to hold strong, without spending it, are continuing to accumulate, continuing to buy. So the more that Bitcoin is pulled off exchanges and pulled into cold storage, that supply on these exchanges for purchase are going to be low, and the demand is going to increase, which then is going to influence the price of it. So they're showing how this is going to lead to somewhere down the line, Bitcoin hitting that 100,000, 200,000, 300,000, $1 million, because of what's happening right here. So speaking of Bitcoin, Lynn Alden had a great tweet thread here. It says, there are many instances where journalists cannot own Bitcoin and cryptos. The idea is that it affects bias. However, not owning some of the best performing assets like Bitcoin can also affect a bias. Imagine not owning something that goes up 1,000% to $1 trillion market cap. It's understandable that you can't own some minor altcoin that you could conceivably move the price of with your words as a journalist. But Bitcoin is a 900 billion market cap asset. An individual piece of writing, even at Wall Street Journal or Bloomberg, won't materially influence it now. People who write about money and finance should be able to own money. Bitcoin is money in a global sense. It's controversial. It's volatile, but one way or another, that is what it is. Owning it is bias. Not owning it is also bias. At this point, we are not in 2013. Bloomberg opinion precisely touched on this 4 years ago, and it's more true today. So he has the article here. You can read it if you like. It says, to add to this, journalists can own the S&P 500 despite Apple being 6%, can own some gold in a safe, can own a house and write about real estate, etc. Bitcoin is larger than 495 S&P 500 companies now. It's also becoming consumer tech. It's nice to have access to it while traveling. Lightning Network is heating up. Social networks are being built on top of Lightning. Unless of tail risk happens, imagine some of the apps a few years from now. This is different than saying, quote, journalists should be able to flip Shiba Inu into stories they write about. Who cares about truth, right? Question mark, laugh out, end quote. It's saying Bitcoin is big. It's saying Bitcoin is big enough and blends into consumer tech enough that having some as part of an asset mix is no longer biased. So, I mean, I quite agree with her. I mean, like, if I was a journalist, I mean, and I wasn't able to, I was forbidden to, partake into this space, like, quite honestly, I wouldn't like it. I would think it was unfair. And I could see how, certain people would say, oh, well, you can influence this or that. But it's like, okay, well, what about everything else? Like how she said, we own a house and you can own, certain stocks and so on. So like, why can't we invest in this new emerging technology that's growing at a tremendous rate? So coming over here, Johnny Deaton had a response to that. He goes, why is it that hardworking journalists supporting her family can't own Bitcoin or stocks they report on, but our elected officials who vote on legislation directly impacting those assets can? So I'm not going to get into, insider trading and all that stuff. But for those of you that are, kind of keeping tabs on what's going on with, investing, government involvement, legislation, and just the shady behavior and scandal that's been happening in regards to that, like, it's this the truth. It's like, how can they do it when they literally are directly influencing, and they have this inside information that the public doesn't have, and they're investing into these individual, stocks, but this journalist can't, which is crazy. It kind of goes into that whole, if you're not an accredited investor, you can't invest into these new startups. You know what I'm saying? You have to be an accredited investor to make money. It's kind of like that same thing. It's like, okay, well, you got to have money to make money, but so that you're keeping those that are in the lower economic status in that position because they can't invest in those. But then the people who have this so-called, accredited investor status, which is great, power to them. That's great. But it's like they can invest into it and make more money. It's crazy. So coming over here, this is from CoinDesk. It says, Ape token tied to Bored Ape Yacht Club NFT sinks 80% in opening hours. The Ape coin token airdrop to Bored Ape NFT owners is off to a rough start, falling from 39.40 to its low as 6.48. So I mean, if the I'm gonna just be honest. Humans are humans, okay? If you've been holding a Bored Ape Yacht Club NFT, right, and you have all the perks that came with it, and they throw out this ape token, right? Me personally, if it comes out and I have all these free airdropped ape tokens for holding these assets or these NFTs, and they come out at $39, I'm gonna take some profit. So a lot of people are definitely, if this is the case, I'm assuming they all took profit. Which you're going to see this, this big drop. This doesn't mean that, this ape token is dead in the water, especially if it has proper utility and use case. So it's like, yes, this is kind of alarming, but in the grand scheme of things, it is what it is. It's human, people taking profit and, kind of rightfully taking what they earn in a sense for holding. Coming over here, this is Ripple to give out 1 billion XRP in developer grants. The first two waves of XRPL grant have offered $6 million in funding to 50 open source projects built on the XRP ledger. So we talk a lot about what's going on with, Ripple, XRP, and, them trying to build out, everything that they're trying to do, fighting the good fight they're trying to fight, the XRPL, just trying to incentivize people to build. This is absolutely positive, not just for, Ripple and XRP in their specific, this specific entity, but just helping these developers and helping these creators come out and obviously give them the funds to be able to create, which is massive, which then in turn influences investors, builds out, further builds out the XRPL and so on. So there's a lot of positivity that comes of that. That's huge. This one right here says New Hampshire hopes it expresses approval of crypto-friendly law will attract new business. A New Hampshire bill would commit the state to a new UCC section before finalization to show its commitment to the blockchain industry. So this is a positive. We hear more and more of this, day by day. Last two things here. It says Binance CEO, we're looking into acquiring banks and payment processors in Brazil. So CZ and Binance, they're just full steam ahead still, trying to literally just be just a dominant entity within the space and trying to get their hands into everything. I almost see it like tentacles, just get their little tentacles into everything. So right here, I thought this was pretty intriguing. This is from Blockworks. This says, people that believe in crypto, Tesla CEO, Uber CEO, Apple CEO, Nvidia CEO, PayPal CEO, Airbnb CEO, Google CEO, Microsoft, MasterCard CEO, Meta co-founder, Apple co-founder, Reddit co-founder, Twitch co-founder, Twitter co-founder, Morgan Stanley CEO, Goldman Sachs CEO, Charles Schwab CEO. So these are major players in the industry, and especially in the tech industry. But it's like this list can go on and on and on. Now we're in 2022. A lot has happened since, the last cycle. We'll say back in 2017, since 2018, we'll say 2018. But there's just been tremendous growth and awareness and adoption that's happening, and it's going to continue to happen. The writing is on the wall with this space. People are seeing where this future is going. I'm going to keep saying it. We're super early, okay? With all that being said, stay strong out there. Be safe.